Hey guys, welcome to another session of Theorycraft. As you can see, our background is a bit different today. We're on the JP side. I'm still theorycrafting mostly for global, but more of like FFBE as a whole. Now, a lot of topics to cover today, and they're all really hype topics. So number one is Nier Automata is returning on JP, which means all the speculation, all the, ups and downs in our hopes of Nier Automata returning on global could happen, and we're gonna get into that. And the second thing I want to talk about is Secret of Mana collab possibly coming to global. Again, all this isn't just like theory, like up in the sky theories. It's based on some facts, and that's what I like. I want this Theorycraft to be about. I don't want it to be just speculation out in the wind, but I do want it to be based on some reality as well. And then the very last topic I wanted to talk about is also the fixed dice nerf that happened on JP about 3 weeks ago now, maybe up to a month, depending on where you're watching this Theorycraft episode. I wanted to talk about that nerf and the effect it will have when Gumi possibly actually applies that nerf. So those are kind of like the three biggest topics I want to talk about. And that's also what's really exciting about this episode of Theorycraft is that I'm doing it live on both the Discord voice chat and also stream, as you guys hearing my voice. The majority of the people are on stream, but I wanted this option for people who either cannot attend the streams, or maybe they're using mobile data and they don't have enough data to be streaming. But most of you guys know that these Theorycraft episodes are really us talking, so it's more like a podcast if anything, and so being on voice chat might be beneficial as well. So if you guys have Discord and you want to join on these Theorycraft sessions, make sure you join the Discord server, and obviously you'll be pinged there when these happen. So let me catch up a bit on the chat here, because there's a lot of hype going on. I think a lot of people first time on the stream as well, so I said good morning to them, but let me just read here. J5 Raga says, "Hey YouTube, take the trash out." Take the trash out, future me. Oh man, people just wanna leave some messages for themselves now. Okay, so let me start off. First things first. Even though this is not on topic, I did want to point out for JP players and also global players that are expecting this blender feature. Now, about a month ago, I made a blender feature video explaining what this feature is on JP and why it's possible that it will come to global, and I really do think it will come to global. There's a lot of evidence that this will. Now, we can make our joke saying that, oh man, global or Gumi's gonna screw up the global version of this feature. Let's not jump to that conclusion yet. But if it works like JP, I did want to give some people a heads up. So in that video, I did say that we will get 7-star limited unit prisms, okay? Limited unit prisms in the future. So when I made the video, there were only these top two prisms here, the ones I'm highlighting right now with my mouse, which is E-Stark and Dragonlord. But apparently, I think at the beginning of September, they added a whole bunch of others. So Valkyrie Profile and Secret of Mana units are also added to the pool. Now, originally, the feature was supposed to be a 3-month rotation, and I believe that in the 3-month rotation, the previous units gets removed. So originally, I think the plan was like E-Stark and Dragonlord, after 3 months, they would be removed, and then the next limited collab banner would come. But it seems that JP is kind of speeding it up, because I think they realized that a 3-month cycle is way too long for these units to actually matter. So people might not even bother trading for the units because the meta would be pushed out so far. This is why I think, I don't have any concluding evidence of their change to this feature, but I think this is why they're pushing out both Secret of Mana collab and Valkyrie Profile all at the same time. Now, why I'm mentioning this is because on global we recently got like Deus Ex, and a lot of people might have like, let's say, 3 Victor Marchenko or 3 Adam Jensen. And what I wanted to bring up is that make sure you do not, I repeat, you do not fuse your third duplicate all right? Even though duplicate actually technically means 2, but your 3rd copy of that unit into your 7-star, all right? Don't do it. Don't do it if you plan to have an STMR. Once you fuse that 3rd copy, you won't be able to fuse another 7-star because the prism doesn't work unless you have a 6-star base unit, all right? Max leveled. So don't do that. All right, so hopefully you guys would watch this Theorycraft episode before you do that, because this is very, very useful information, I believe. So don't do that, and prep it, and expect this to come to global in the future as well. I am expecting that. I mean, this is the last time you can possibly get these limited units to 7-star, and even JP is doing this because they know this is going to be probably the last time they're going to bring it back. So that's what I wanted to talk about first. And then we'll get into our juicy topics. All right, so let me catch up a bit here on both chats. Jomo, well, I mean, I don't have any duplicates, so XD face feels bad, man. But yes, for those people who do have 3 of them, they may be tempted to fuse that 3rd copy. They're like, oh well, you know, I'm never gonna get that STMR, so how about let's get that 50% trust Moogle, and then they do it. And then when these prisms are released, you have no units to fuse it to, unless somehow they do make a return of the banner, which Gumi could possibly do because, you know, income, right? If they want to do that, they could, but at least JP doesn't plan to do that, so I would assume Global might not. So you wanna make sure you keep that in mind. Let's see here. Turuchi, hey, Sunday fun day. Yeah, man, it is Sunday stream, special stream. Let's see here. Oh, we'll come to global same way we'll come to UOC, man. Oh, you get these tokens. Okay, so Dragon Knight 901 says, how do you get these tokens? So you get these tokens by trading in your 100% TMR units, and I do think that Doppels has actually explained it in the chat, so I'm not gonna explain it too far. But anyways, if you guys are, you know, wondering how this feature works, make sure you check that video I made I think about a month ago now, talking about the blender or / mixer feature that will potentially come to global. Just search like JaganX blender or mixer feature and you'll probably get it. Now here, first hype of the day, guys. First hype news of the day. JP got some awesome news. And it's Nier Automata. Yes. So a lot of people have been like, you know, posting and you know, tagging me on Twitter and saying that, hey Jagan, man, Nier Automata, and you know, all this stuff, and on YouTube chat comments as well. I kind of replied to those comments, but I knew I was gonna make this Theorycraft anyway, so I kind of like gave them kind of, I don't know, mysterious replies. Just like, yes, they're coming back, winky face. But now we have confirmation that they're back, and not only that, JP has A2. So for those of you who may have been playing for global only, know that A2 was a global exclusive unit. Now that this return has come back to JP, they're getting A2 as well. However, this could be good or bad news. A2 is a completely different unit than global, because we have a true double hand meta currently in JP, and JP is not, they're not gonna create A2 and make her a dual wield unit, where at the time she was a very powerful and more powerful than 2B, actually more powerful than 2B dual wield unit on global, but on JP she is a true double hand unit. That causes a problem in 2 respects. One, how is global going to handle A2 7-star version? And secondly, the second problem is that now I want to pull on JP. I want to pull on JP when this banner is actually released. Right now we only have the news, we don't have the banner at the moment, but still it's pretty exciting. So yes, A2 and 2B are 2 5-star units. We'll get the 7-star version, and also Eve is new as well. So Eve was a collects unit, even though it was 4-star and he wasn't even that good. He does make it back onto JP. Now I don't know if he actually has a new kit or whatnot, I'm not quite sure yet, but we do have some stats and data on the 2 5-star base units, which I'll read out. So thanks to Mortrix, he basically copy and pasted me, I think it's like a really raw Reddit thread on their skills. So even their banner, they're gonna get limited tickets as well. So if you guys watched some of the Xenogears and also Octopath pulls that I've done, you would know that there's a limited ticket every time you pull 15k, and it's a raid event. And the collab here, you get 2 of these tickets in the raid rewards, and so you can choose one. Like, you can actually choose either A2 or 2B. By spending 15,000 lapis, you get 3 tickets plus the 2 raid reward tickets. You get to choose one, guaranteed. Now, whether or not this will ever come to global, that is something to be talked about in the future. Yeah, you guys can make your jokes or whatnot. I'm not gonna I'm not gonna talk about that right now. But for A2, the difference right away, right off the bat, you can see her TMR here. Beast, is it called Beast Lord? I think it's Beast Lord. Beast Lord, 143 attack with 20% defense, and also gives you some kind of I think it's still the same attack. It's like an AoE, almost like a Blade Blitz pretty much. It comes with the weapon, and you can get that for each unit equipped. And not only has it increased in power, in Global's version, it's a large sword with 125 attack. This is 143. You can tell that this is shifted because of the meta. And not only that, it's a two-handed weapon. Two-handed weapon means it will be really, really good because she's gonna be a true double hand unit, which means she'll fit the meta. Again, how Global will handle that 7-star conversion, whether they're just gonna redesign her kit, I'm not quite sure. I highly doubt it. How are they gonna make that work? I have no idea. But for Global, we're stuck where our A2s will most likely be way crappier than the JP version, unless Global gives them some Global exclusive buffs in some of their damage mods. Because like I said, for your trustability to work, you would need your TMR, and hers is stuck at 125 attack. And it's a one-handed weapon, so damage wise it's just not going to be great. It's just not going to be too good. Super Trust Mastery is a large sword equipped with 80, so large sword equipped you get 80% attack, and also physical and magic machine killer, so that means a 75% killer towards machines, magic and physical. So it's machine killer plus, which is pretty good all around. I mean, 80% on a large sword equipped is not terrible. Just looking at I'm just reading the Japanese here. I don't have any English translation, so I might be translating stuff wrong. But it looks like Eve's TMR is about the same. Oh no, it's different. It's 30% attack instead of HP, I believe. Or I think our Global's is HP. But HP under a certain threshold, you get a buff in attack and defense. That's what it reads. Oh, interesting. So it's 30 attack instead. I think I still prefer the 30 HP on Global side, in my opinion. Let's see, and then 9S of course gets pod. This is the same because we got the same pod in JP and Global. Unit 210 is the same, I believe. Yeah, Mechanical Heart, HP and a Spirit 15%, and also receiving chance to heal your HP back, receiving physical and magic attacks. And then lastly, 2B, man. To be or not to be, eh? Streaming pun, we get a 7-star awakening, so it's really awesome. Again, like, she's stuck with her trustability with a 130 attack virtuous contract. Pikachu's like that cringe. Oof. Oh man. Okay, sorry guys. I'm just too excited. You gotta make my dad jokes. She's stuck at that 130 attack katana there with the 20% MP at the time of her release. This was awesome. Until Sephiroth's katana, this was like probably the best TMR regarding katana wise. And I mean, I still use it sometimes, but it's not as good anymore. Her Super Trust Mastery is called Executioner. It seems to be sword, long sword, or katana when equipped, and something else. You get a 40% attack, and also magic and machine killer. No, magic and machine killers. No, human killer, man eater. And also what? Hey, look. Even JP does the pun here. To be or not to be, huh? Look at that. Oh, Red X, thank you. Red X says spears as well. Yeah, so it's actually, you know what? I have the I actually have the English here. So like I said, Mortrix is teaching me. Okay, yeah, so it's 40 attack with katana, sword, or spear with human killer plus, and use of or not to be, which is a single target death or thunder damage. So if the single target death doesn't go through, it's a thunder damage. I don't think we have the actual data on it, as in the mods, but it probably shouldn't be that good. It's an STMR skill, which is interesting, but probably not that strong, I'm assuming. The pun. Okay, wait. Taruchi says the pun is the name of the ending of the actual game, so it's not much of a surprise. Oh, really? It's one of the endings. Did I do this ending? I don't know if I did this one. The B ending. Doopy cringe 3rd times. It's still a lame pun that hurts. Yeah, true. It is. Okay, so spoilers. Hey Zan, welcome to stream. Oh yeah, so yeah, this is what it says here. Oh, even the banner was really good too. So look at this. It's a 15,000. I believe it's 5k each. All right, is that 5k? Yeah, 5k 11 unit summon for each one. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Step 2, you get a guarantee. No, step 2. Do you get a guarantee? No, yeah, you don't. You don't. It's a 1.5 times for A2 or 2B specifically, and on the very last one, you get an A2 or 2B. So if you pull 15,000, you're going to get a 7-star regardless, because you're gonna get enough tickets to choose one. I'm gonna be pulling on this one, guys, and I really want to pull for A2. Because if anything, if Global doesn't change A2's kit when she becomes a 7-star, and still I'm gonna say this, because JP has this rerun, so it's a way higher possibility for Global to have this rerun, and also I think that Global will receive this rerun quicker than on JP's timeline. So what I mean is, if Nier Automata returns on Global, I'm suspecting it will return sooner than a year from now, which is about JP's chronology. And the reason why I say that is because if they don't change A2's kit, at least they won't be meta changing units. I mean, none of the stuff I've read so far on 2B specifically, on a dual wield unit, will like really change the meta that it's broken if they're released on Global sooner. So I'm assuming it would. And also another reason is because whatever the delay for JP to get them, whether this was planned or if there was some kind of contractual kind of issue, they might not have the rights to use A2 and 2B. Now, you know, some people might say, well, it's Square Enix, right? They hold all the rights. I'm not quite sure about that. Sometimes these things can get really complicated with the creator of the game, with the owner of the game, etc., the producers or whatnot. So if it was a contractual issue and that they could release it now, it's quite likely that the Global can get it earlier, like before their quote-unquote contract ends. All right, that's speculation on my part, so be prepared for their drop, all right, on Global. If you were waiting for this rerun and you were saving Lapins and stuff, and like Hyo is about to drop on Global, maybe you can reconsider. All right, so but don't take my word for it. Take it with a grain of salt. Knowing Global, it will be this week. Probably. Hey, Battering Ram, thank you for coming, man. I'll talk to you later. It could possibly. I mean, Global's been doing like back-to-back collabs. It seems like forever now, which is quite good. But it seems like Global might be rushing the collabs out because they know that the longevity of them being in meta won't last too long. And not only that, because Global is also giving Global exclusive buffs to the 7-star units from Generation 1, it's quite likely that they could push it out, right? This is still speculation, right? So this is the theory part of the crafting here. But yeah, so yeah, Nier Automata rerun, it seems to be the same event the first time. So Attack on Angles, is that how you pronounce his name? Which is awesome because it had Bipolar Nightmare in the background music. Oh man, just listening to that. So this is the other news on JP. I don't want to get into it. This is not a news segment for JP. Yeah, Angles here. So yeah, so from September 10th to September 20th on JP side for 10 days, and then you can raid summon all the way to the 30th. Yeah, so angles here, you can get Adam, I think, from a raid pool there. And let's see, craftable items, this is all returning. So if you were on JP and you had this on the first time, I think the only unit you would want to be pulling for is A2 anyway. But A2 is gonna be beast. All right, so let me read this for a sec. One sec. I have the A2 skills here. And then after this, I think I'm going to call this a segment. I'm going to catch up on the chat, and I'm going to address the questions and the comments as well. So one thing here. So 2B will get... so there's a lot of Japanese involved in here, but see here, self-avoid 2 physical attacks, chance of countering physical damage, and unlocking a specific Japanese word skill here. It's a single target, but here, it's just really funny. I wish I can, like, type this out, but it's in all caps, okay? Single target, very big damage, okay? That's all it says. Very big damage. Plus, turns. I think it seems to be mod. Okay, so it's a mix of Japanese and English. This is why it's really hard for me to kind of translate right now. And then also self-attack and defense up with self-damage mitigation, and unlocks more skills, and for 5 turns. And then AoE attacks 3 times. I have no idea what's going on here. Self-LB gauge up, which 2B's LB gauge is 2B's LB is incredibly strong. And if it's at 7-star, I'm just gonna imagine some really crazy mod change. All right, I think it was already at a 21 times physical damage. It was AoE chainable by herself, but the frames, I think they're fast enough to chain with like Awakened Rain, etc. I haven't tested it myself, but I think it could be. Let's see, and then AoE damage, increase damage on certain abilities, and then single target damage with Thunder Imperil. So what it reads like to me, the way you used 2B before, for those of you who may have not pulled 2B on her original banner, or maybe you missed the banner but you wanted it, how you would use 2B is pretty much you would like cycle between, I think, like 3 to 4 skills, and depending on which route you go, if you were going fixed dice, you would go like, I think, up to 4 skills, because you want to imperil lightning and also imbue lightning to yourself. But basically, her kind of way to build up damage is rotating skills. Now, from what I've read, and it's still very ambiguous to me, from what I've read is that it seems to be the case, and in her 7-star form, it just builds up to this very, very big damage skill, and then also has like a somewhat crazy 5-turn rotation, and there's just like attack buffs, damage mitigation, unlocks more skills, and so it seems to be like it's gonna be maybe a longer loop. All right, longer loop of skills that will give her really crazy mods. Now, E-Stark, at the time of this news, E-Stark, Squall, and a bunch of, I think, Nalu as well, they're getting enhancements on JP. Which actually, you know what, I might be able to... Is that even released out? Yeah, it is. They're getting like crazy mods. I'm not gonna go into it. This is not the purpose of this Theorycraft. But even someone like E-Stark, I'm just gonna go down here. His one of his skills, or his 7-star is one of his enhancements. I think it's this one here. I think it's called Lordly Thrust. It gives an attack mod of 100%. So basically, I think it was at a 5.5 times physical damage modifier. It was a Divine Ruination chaining family, so Holy Explosion chaining family. You get 100 times mod on it when you awaken this to +2, and it becomes 11 times. Now, 11 times mod is no joke for physical damage dealer. For you guys to grasp like the significance of this, I would have to say, someone like Fravia Enhanced, which is a hybrid unit. So in theory, you would have the damage mods. So Fravia getting a 10 times with enhancements on her Frost Flower Blitz becomes a 5 times in essence. All right, in essence, I'm not gonna get into the detail of the formula, the damage formula, but she does a lot of damage because she can also do 75% Imperil. But E-Stark is a physical damage, so he gets 11 times mod, like straight up. So maybe if you pulled 2 E-Stark on global, yay, because in his awakening he actually becomes pretty good. And Morchix and I and a couple other people were talking on Discord as well that this is probably going to be the only way that they can get dual wield units to become stronger, not only in the future possibly raising the true dual wield cap, but also increasing the modifiers with enhancements, that will be enough for them. And also, one of his skills, I think it was Lordly Thrust as well, becomes backloaded. It becomes backloaded. So technically, he can do the same damage as Hyo, because Hyo is a Servant of the Blade, I believe, which is his Holy Explosion Divine Ruination Frame move. I think it has about 5 times mod, 5.2 I think times mod, and it's backloaded. But with 11 times mod backloaded, it doesn't make E-Stark worse than Hyo. It actually makes him stronger potentially without the Imperil in the move. So dual wield units will eventually, the only downside to them would be eventually they can't dual cast their abilities. So they can't like self buff and then chain, or they can't imperil and then chain. They can't imbue and then chain. Someone like Axar could do that. They would have to stick to the move. But if they have increased damage mods, Reagan, E-Stark, I don't know, or Landu, I don't know if they will ever get second enhancements. I don't know. They won't be neglected. They'll be usable dual wield units again. So that's really good news. It's really good news. So let me read the chat here. Got a lot to catch up on. I've been kind of ranting on. Let's see. Doopy says, Jagan, talk about 2B kit and 7-star TDH meta too. So one of the things, if E-Stark's damage modifier gets upgraded, and 2B gets all these crazy skills, and like I said, remember I read this, single target, very big damage, it's possible she can get some crazy dual wield mods that won't make her neglectable. Remember, because they have so much machine killer and she can buff herself as well, I don't think she'll be irrelevant anymore. I really don't think so. I'm not as worried about a dual wield now. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see, 700. Mago says, now I need a second E-Stark. If you pulled one E-Stark, you can at least get the Prism later, I guess. Yeah, okay, so Zerog says backloaded. Yeah, backloaded. I'll probably get into backloaded and what that means for newer players in a future Theorycraft or in a feature video. If I actually manage to pull Hyo on global, I'm gonna do a whole week on just Hyo, how to use him and understand him entirely as a unit. So I'll get into backloading there, but basically backloading really makes your chain a lot stronger. It really neglects the need of a finisher, even though a finisher can still benefit, but it neglects the need. You don't need a finisher. It will finish the chain for you. Another thing about A2, I also have her skill sets here. So like I said, the TMR, the STMR, her LB has an AoE defense ignoring nuke and self attack up. I don't know what that means. AoE defense ignoring nuke. I don't know what that means. This is JP. Remember, A2 is JP's new baby here. So she could have a completely different thing, and self attack up on her LB. I have no idea what her 7-star is gonna be like. I'm just so hyped about it. When they drop on global, I mean JP, I'm for sure pulling for A2. That's my aim. In global, if you don't own A2, her maxed LB will give her a 250% self buff in her attack. But she'll take damage over time. I think it's like 20% HP per turn. But A2 becomes incredible. So like a dual wield A2 on global, I think I got up to like a 1200 attack or something. Self buff with her LB max level, I got about 1900 attack. 1900 attack is so nutty. It's not even funny. It's not even funny. But 250, you have to understand, 250% buff. No buffer can give you 250% buff, right? 250% buff at the time of A2's release on global is just not even heard of. 250% buff is something that Axstar and JP right now in the meta has, but A2 had it like a year ago. So it's really crazy. So I have no idea what the 7-star A2 will be like on JP. So like I said, AoE defense ignoring nuke plus self attack up at a 7-star LB. I'm guessing a 300% buff, at least. I don't know. If it stops at 250, I'm still not gonna cry about it, but it kind of neglects it because other units can have it in a skill itself. Hold on, wait. Hoping heal. Oh, Cookie says hoping heal coming this week. I hope so too. I hope so too. Is it? Oh, right. Okay, so Unreal Levy says it's a AoE defense ignoring nuke. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, yeah. You know what? This actually reminds me. I think it's about the same. It's gonna be the same LB. So one of the things I actually forgot is that in global, I forgot that was one of A2's LB aspects. It's not just a self buff. It's called Berserk. So she grabs her head and then she screams, and there's like an explosion, and that explosion actually does a lot of damage. I forgot what the mods is. Hold on, let me pull this up really quickly. I wanna state this for the fact, because when JP comes, A2 on JP comes, I wanna be sure I can compare the mods here. So Berserk is a oh, it's not even that much. It's not that much. It's only a 4.5 times physical damage to all enemies AoE, and then yes, 20% HP drain per turn, 4 turns, and then that buff lasts for 4 turns as well. So attack 250%. No, I don't know, man. Like, so Graph Lightbreaker says that's why I don't even know how much attack boost on a 7-star form will give in 500%. I don't think 500%. That's too insane. So it seems that the LB, if the information I have right now is the case, it doesn't seem like she'll take damage over time, which is an improvement of Global's LB, because I really hate that 20% drop. But if you have a healer, I guess it doesn't matter. I think I'm gonna guess about 300%. A 300% buff is incredible right now. 300% to max 350. And Mayred, hi, good morning. I see Hyo. Yeah, Unreal Levy. Hyo only self buffs at 200%. But Hyo can get enhancements possibly soon. So I think, yeah, and Xerox says Hyo will probably come with global upgrades. I don't think Hyo will come with global upgrades, guys. I really don't think so. Even at a 200% buff, the problem with Hyo's 200% buff is that he can't dual cast it. So Axstar can dual cast his buff, Saiton can dual cast his buff, but Hyo can't. That would be my only thing. If global were to buff the Hyo kit, that would be enough for me. Dual castable that buff, and I would be 100% satisfied. But I would totally not be surprised if they don't give him a buff, because at the time of him dropping, he'll still be so good for 6 months. I don't think he's gonna get it. A2 will probably... No, A2 does have triple cast, so let me continue reading this. So this is a bit slow here, because I'm just too excited, as you guys can see. Single target damage, unlocks something for 4 turns. This is all Japanese. Single target damage and self-evade 1 hit. Self-attack defense up, plus aggro up buff. Oh, okay, so this is actually the same. So I'm reading a lot of this. This is kind of a reminiscence to a lot of this stuff. But also has a machine killer buff. So one of her skills, it's like, I think it's called provoke or something. It makes herself stronger by 80%, but also makes the enemy stronger by 80%. And but for the JP version, you get a machine killer buff with that skill. On global, you don't get the machine killer buff. So that's an enhancement already. 4 turns self berserk, evade 10 physical attacks. What? What am I reading something wrong here? I don't know if this is another skill. 4 turns self berserk, evade 10 physical attacks, give unique counters with W ability. Okay, if this berserk means like Zargabot's berserk, or how we tend to say that enfeeblement berserk. Berserk means you get a increased power, but then you auto attack though. But it gives you evade 10 physical attacks, so I'm assuming this would be an auto attack thing. But it also gives unique counters. I see. Oh man, that's gonna be interesting. That would make Berserk not irrelevant. Because if it gives you 10 physical evasions with some unique counters, depending on what they are, that might be really cool. That might be really cool, actually. Yeah, she gets W ability, so for sure confirm she can dual cast her ability. So yes, she's a true double hand unit, 100%. And at 7-star, she has triple ability, so she can triple cast it, and ability damage up. So I believe that is probably a mod increase per turn, kind of maybe like Axstar. And then something else, a Japanese thing in the 7-star, but then unlocks another skill. All right, sorry guys, I cannot read all this Japanese given to me. But even if I knew what the name of it was, it still wouldn't matter. But those are kind of the effects of it. It's pretty crazy. Let's see here. Oh, Abraham, man, thanks for coming, man. I'll talk to you later. He probably didn't hear this, but if you're watching this video later, dude, then you would hear me say goodbye to you. Alright guys, so let's move on to the next topic. So my next topic is Secret of Mana rerun. I think Secret of Mana is going to come back on global. Now this is based off some speculation, of course, but this is not, like I said, like in the wind, kind of up in the air speculation. If you guys even check out the current King Mog event, not the Dragon Quest one, but the Final Fantasy 11 one. Check out King Mog, what he's trading there for one of the Trust Moogles. You would notice one of the Trust Moogles is called Fairy's Wisdom. Now, I bought it because I thought it was, I didn't know, I thought it was Timothy's for some reason, or Mim's TMR, because they're fairies, right? So I'm just thinking, oh yeah, it's their TMR Moogle, so I bought it because it was really cheap. But Fairy's Wisdom belongs to a unit called Popoi, I think. Popoi is a Secret of Mana unit. So why would they have that specific Trust Moogle in the King Mog event? Now, you know, one may argue, well, you know, they came out before, people have her. Yes, but why now? That kind of scares me and excites me at the same time. Scares me because I'm not really prepared for it. Really, I don't know if I can ham on what's it called, Randy and all the new units to come, but because we had Secret of Mana before on global, it's quite likely that they were gonna make a return sometime anyway. But I think with this Trust Moogle, I am 90% sure that they're gonna come back. Yeah, Valiant Goat says I'm not ready for Randy. I'm not either. My heart. Resource wise, I might be able to, but it's just like there's Hyo coming, and people have been asking, you know, like, you know, is Randy better or is Hyo better? Like, you know, picking one to choose. If you're free to play, I would definitely recommend you save for Randy and skip Hyo. The reason is not because Randy is so much better than Hyo, even though he is in a way, but it's mostly because he's limited. Randy's a limited unit, and Hyo, you can get him again. And if your unit of choice, you know, you save your unit of choice, you can eventually get Hyo, and like all the other units will still be power creeped sometime in the future. But I'm gonna pull up Randy here for a second. So why Randy is so good is because at least in the 7-star, he can wield fixed dice. So for those of you who may not know, I was talking to someone on Discord the other day, Red, on Discord the other day. He was asking, you know, fixed dice is only one attack. How is that better? And it's because of the damage variance. So damage variance, fixed dice has a 100 to 600% chance, right? Range damage variance. So if you're lucky, you get a 6 times mod. That beats any flat attack. Like no exceptions. That beats any flat attack. But the thing is, obviously, you could have bad luck. You could run a 100 times damage variance. But 100 times damage variance is just like any other weapon. It's just is this 650? 650 times. So Midnight says it's 650 times. Okay, so on average it's about 3 times though. That's how most people have been calculating it. So they see fixed dice as about a 3 times damage weapon. Now Randy not only can use fixed dice, he can imbue himself with multiple elements. He can imbue himself with, I believe, light, wind, earth, water, fire, and I think dark as well. Yes, And not only that, each of the elements has a different chaining family. I believe 2 of them belong to like Divine Ruination. He has quick hit frames. I think he has like almost every chaining family in his kit, which makes him incredible. And not only that, he gets a 50% beast killer, he has undead killer, and he also has spirit killer and dragon killer. So in essence, he can have a lot of potential, out damage Hio. The only thing that Hio has that's over Randy is that backloaded hit that I was talking about. But if you have like a Randy and a Hio and you had them sharing the same element, they can wreak some havoc together. It's gonna be nutty. That is why I'm not 100% ready. And also Randy's Super Trustmaster ability is also really good. It might not be good on himself. His Trustmaster is a sword, okay? But the Super Trustmaster is a 50% attack with 30% Esper stats, and then also 15% HP and MP when equipped with a sword. Now, the equipped with the sword part, I'm not quite sure if it's all of it is equipped with the sword or just the 15% HP and MP part. Originally, Foxy on Discord told me that every single thing there is affected when you equip with a sword. It might be the case, and even if that is the case, that is still a really solid Super Trust Mastery. And the reason is because the 30% Esper stats counts as a different cap, right? But by your damage, you could have a true double hand cap, you can have a regular passive attack cap, you can have also Esper stats cap. That's a whole different cap. So if you capped both and you have Esper stats on, I believe it carries over the percentage of the Esper's specific stats onto your unit. I believe Laswell's STMR, I'm only doing this off memory, you guys. Laswell's STMR has a 10% Esper stats as well. That's why his katana STMR is like one of the best katanas, with LB fill rate, of course. Let's see here. Let's see. No, Tommy, I don't believe he does. So Tommy says that he has backloaded hits on some skills. I don't believe he does. Shifting damage is different from backloading. So some units have oh wait, no, he's right. He is right. No, he has backloaded hits. Uh-oh. Yeah, so I would say that makes Randy way better than Hio. He does. Yes. Okay. So Tommy has him on JP. He does have backloaded hits. Now I have his skill sets up as well. A couple. He has a wind backloaded. He has an earth backloaded. I think only 2. Nope. He has at least 3 are backloaded hits. That's pretty amazing. Oh wow. That makes him probably way better than Hio then. That's tough. That's really tough. One thing I did want to talk about is that so some people on the chat were talking about this the fixed dice nerf. So a lot of people are saying, oh yeah, don't invest in fixed dice units because there's a fixed dice nerf. Now, if you don't know what the fixed dice nerf is, really, what JP has done is that they can't nerf fixed dice like the item itself. So they can't be like, okay, fixed dice has a 650% damage variance and then all of a sudden update it and make it like a 300%. They can't do that. Apparently it's against the law because I think it's a gacha law, if I understand this correctly, that they made you pull for a unit and then later to change what you got back from the money spent or resources spent on a unit. That's why they couldn't like just nerf fixed dice itself. So what JP has done in layman's terms is that they've kind of done an umbrella nerf on top of the damage variance right now. Midnight confirmed, yeah, it's a gacha game law. Thanks dude. it's a umbrella nerf. So basically it takes the exact same damage formula that we have in JP and global at right now, and so the variance of fixed dice would still happen in this original formula, but then they've bracketed this original formula into a new formula and had it, I think it's like old damage variance or old damage output damage plus 5 divided by, I think, 180. I can't remember the formula right off the bat, but basically what that means is fixed dice is equipment is a +1 attack, right? So it's 1 attack plus 5 divided by 180. So if you do the math, you're getting like really no damage output from fixed dice, which is incredibly stupid. But apparently they're only going to apply this formula onto some new trials. So it's not going to be like a system that changes the entire game, but rather it's going to work like a new kind of game mechanic where like bosses over time they got so I'm going to do this as an example. So the original Gilgamesh, on the very first turn, he has Mana Wall. I believe that's a 99% self buff, spirit and defense. So you couldn't one turn KO unless you dispel him. Now, trials in JP have the trial bosses having damage mitigation, undispellable, by the way. You can't dispel it. Damage mitigation for like the first couple turns. So it will prevent one turn KO sort of cheeses. And the mechanic what I just talked about, this kind of fixed dice nerf, apparently it's going to be a mechanic onto some newer trial. So like I said, it won't be applied to like Bloody Moon. It won't, even though Bloody Moon can't accept physical damage. What's a better Stag Trial, for example? It won't affect Stag Trial. It won't affect like Omega. So fixed dice, if you imbue yourself with fixed dice, you can still like wreck Omega. So that won't change. All right, so does this change your perception of fixed dice units on global? That's one thing to think about. And the other thing is, I'm not 100% sure that global will implement the exact same type of nerf. Whether the nerf will be worse than global, worse than JP, or better than JP, I'm not quite sure. I will suspect that they will nerf it though, because fixed dice is really broken, especially when a unit like Yuffie came out. That's the reason why this came out. A lot of people, if you want to check this out, I think you can find this on YouTube still. Two Yuffie can one turn KO Gilgamesh Kai, which caused a lot of problems for people originally at first, but she can one turn KO with her LB with fixed dice on, which is just nutty. So I believe it was almost kind of like a jumping the gun for JP to kind of like, okay guys, you know, the fixed dice is way too broken now with this unit. Let's quickly find a solution that does not break gacha game laws and that will fix it throughout. All right, and I think, all right, this is speculation. I think that the solution that they came out with is kind of a jumping the gun kind of solution. I personally think that it's kind of stupid because it really ruins fixed dice completely. Like fixed dice, the reason why fixed dice was so good and also not good at the same time was because dual wield units in the past. Now obviously with true double hand units, you can dual cast abilities. It really removes the kind of the handicap that fixed dice had. So I do understand that fixed dice needs to be nerfed, otherwise it's just the best weapon. Basically, if fixed dice never got nerfed, everyone would be pulling for units that could have 1, throwing weapons, 2, be able to dual cast or triple cast their abilities, and 3, self-imbue. Alright? Once you could do those 3 things, the unit just becomes too crazy with fixed dice, so I do understand it. Alright, so let's see here. But doing 1 turn KO make you not clear some missions. Doopy, yes, you're right. Doing 1 turn KO will prevent you from doing some missions, but at least in JP's trials, a lot of those rewards are worth 1 turn KOing. Like they're not just like, so for like mid-level players that might not have the right equipment, might not have the right gear and units, will still want to take on those trials because the trial equipment is so awesome, right? Like crazy killers on spears, on katanas, on rods or whatnot. But yes, you will miss some missions. Midnight says with the nerf, it makes Yuffie's STMR the only good throwing weapon. You're right. You're right. Otherwise, yes, her STMR was useless compared to fixed dice. That could be another reason why they had to do it right away, because they wanted people to obviously pull for Yuffie's, right? To make money, right? Remember, it's a gacha game, so it's not wrong for them to shift things and game features to force people to pull more. If you wanted Yuffie's STMR, you would definitely have to pull for more, of course. Yeah, Tommy, I do agree. One turn KO does not mean fixed, like first turn KO. You're right. But it's still like I think how people experimented with Yuffie, because Yuffie can self-imbue, she can imperil and imbue, and use fixed dice, and she can she can at least dual cast. I think she can triple cast. I think all units can right now. And her LB is insane. So it is broken regardless. Even if it's not first turn KO, if you can sustain the couple turns that the damage mitigation is on, you can sustain it, you can still kill them in one shot, which is different, because usually if you take on those trials, there's thresholds that you can't, that would give you headaches. But if you still one turn KO, you can skip those thresholds. Pikachu asked, if you were able to free-to-play, what approach would you take with all the incumbent units? Okay, that's a good question. And Pikachu and Dangerous Teenage Boy also asked something like this along the lines on YouTube as well. So I give a shout out to both of you. If you were a free-to-play unit, free-to-play unit? Yeah, you guys are units. Free-to-play players on global, with all the potential collabs coming, this is how I would go from here on. Don't pull on regular units. Pull on limited banner units. I would have to say that. Invest in those. Now there's obviously there's kind of a threshold. One, you really have to bet on your luck if you're going for them, because you could be as salty as me. Like, if some of you guys watched me trying to pull for Victor Marchenko, and those of you were actually on Discord when I was trying to pull for Victor Marchenko on global, I was unlucky in getting him. 160,000 lapis spent. All right, I had the resources to do that, but I didn't get any one of him. So it is a risk for free-to-play players to think that, okay, you know what, Nier Automata could come, so I'm gonna start hoarding right now. And let's say you even hoard up to 90,000 lapis, right? 90,000 lapis, you hoarded like 100 tickets. If the game wants to shaft you, it will shaft you. There's no avoiding that, and that's a dangerous gamble. But at the same time, we could say that, you would have the same results pulling for Hyo, right? But the safety about someone like Hyo, on Citra, on Ignis, on Tifa and Vincent, all these upcoming global units, the safety about them is that you can unit of choice them eventually. If you like pull like a full step up and just like, oh man, I didn't get any Hyo. Okay, I'm just gonna stop. Right, I'm just gonna stop. You can stop yourself there. But on a limited banner, it's really hard, and it's really tempting when it's either a collab you really love, the units because, bring back some memories, or it's just a unit that that has a wonderful kit, and you just really want that limited unit. Regardless, it's very risky. My advice regardless would be, if you're a free-to-play player, and even if you're a dolphin or somewhat of a whale, and you have a limited spending, maybe you spend like, I don't know, like 300 to 500 bucks a month, all right? And I believe that's how people are defined as whales. $300 a month is about defined as whale. So let's say you have a $300 budget a month to spend on this game. I would say spend it on limited time units. High potential, they're gonna get step ups. So at least maybe you're guaranteed some or higher chances. I would definitely try that. Okay, let me see here. Unreal Levy, I'm a 5-star unit. Yeah, because I call you guys free-to-play units. Oof. Free-to-play players, sorry guys. It's really hard, especially when my mind is like reading chats and also just looking at and thinking about a lot of stuff at the same time. J5 Raga, what about player-made units? Oh, J5 Raga, player-made units, like the contest where player draws the units and design them. Yeah, I think they will come. I'm not too up to date on those units myself, like who won and when they're coming. I'm not quite sure. Rick's Streaming Corner says there's avoiding it though. They will be releasing it with a unit of coin system. If you're talking about the prisms, Rick's Streaming Corner, if you're talking about the prisms, you still need one of them to make them a 7-star. And by the time the 7-star or the prisms come with the blender feature with that coin system, they're not going to be relevant anymore. So I mean, it's up to you. Oh, you're not talking about that? Oh, I'm not sure what you're talking about then. Let's see here. Doopy says RNG is still RNG. Yep. So Chizaru says, my boy, technically you get a 1 7-star guaranteed from 15k lapis, at least on JP right now. That's for, yeah, they're getting better, the collabs. Yes, we were looking at the Nier Automata return, and yes, we found that out. It's pretty amazing. 15k lapis already guaranteed. I mean, Global sort of did that with Deus Ex. They did a 20,000 lapis with 1 guaranteed already. I mean, they're kind of meeting us halfway, guys. And also keep in mind, if you guys are raging about Gumi, keep in mind that JP didn't get a 15k guaranteed rainbow, like guaranteed 7-star, like on the banner, until like recently. And I think Nier Automata was the first one to get it, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe, no, Octopath didn't get it. Yeah, Nier Automata is the first one. So, I mean, Gumi is meeting us halfway, a year ahead. They're giving us a 20k lapis for a guaranteed Deus Ex unit, so it was pretty good, somewhat. Not Nier. Which one are you talking about, Chizaru? Let's see. Yeah, but Rick's Streaming Corner, you're talking about that trust coin? But that might not be coming, right? We don't know if they're going to implement that on any limited units. I mean, we didn't get that on Deus Ex, so I can't say that's coming for sure. Unless you have data that I don't. Let's see here. What about Lara Croft 7-star? Well, Lara Croft is a free unit, so even if she gets a 7-star... I don't think she'll be that good. Even though Marquis de Lion, alright, Marquis de Lion. I was practicing my French the other day on stream. Marquis de Lion is a 7-star. I don't know, maybe. I don't know about I don't really care about the free units getting 7-stars, to be honest. It maybe will be nice for free-to-play players, but I'm not too invested in that. And the globals 2 major sucks, by the way, compared to JP. Wait, see, Pikachu says one is RNG, you couldn't pick one, you got done for free. You did coins. Yeah, the coin system is random. Yeah, the coin system is random, but JP's ticket system is not random. Yes, I do know that. But we don't know what global will get though. We don't know what global will get. I remember pulling on the Secret of Mana banner on JP when I first started JP. They didn't have any of those ticket systems. They didn't have any of those. They had regular step-ups as we've seen them now on global. That's what they had. So at least a couple 7 months ago, they didn't have any of those ticket systems, none of the coin systems. That's why I never got a Randy, because I pulled it a lot. Rick Streaming Corner, sorry man, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're referring to, what I have said. So my 100 says no TG. Okay, so Ferrero says my level 160 account has no TDH items materia. Should I only be chasing dual wield units like Reagan and Tifa? How does Hyo perform as dual wield? Hyo doesn't perform as dual wield. You can still true double hand him with his own TMR that gives you 100% true double hand if you have him at 7-star, and you don't need any other true double hand materia and abilities. And you can, equipment and abilities, and you can already make him stronger than a dual wield unit right now in the meta. So don't don't neglect heal or true double hand units. He'll still beat any dual wielder right now. Alright, I think, let's see here. I'm gonna catch up a bit on this comments here, and I think I'm gonna wrap this up. I think this has been this is an hour session, a lot of hype, so I'm really excited about this one for sure. I just pray that I just pray that I get one A2 tomorrow so I can ticket the second one, says Chirzaru. Technically, chance to get an A2 to be is higher than 50%. Yes, I would hope I can get them too. Me too. Okay, yeah, Pikachu. Yeah, thank you for that. Okay, so Pikachu says, do a short recap of what we talked about. So yeah, so today on the Theorycraft, obviously, if you have been watching the entire thing, we did talk about the Nier Automata return, what that means for global, how is global going to handle A2 7-star, since A2 in global is a dual wield unit. How is that going to be different from JP, since JP is a true double hand? We looked at their kits, of course, on JP here. A possible increase in power in 2B at 7-star, probably still making her relevant as a dual wielder. We did take a look at also E-Stark's enhancements on JP, giving him an 11 times mod, which is incredible for his Divine Ruination or Holy Explosion frames, which makes him as good as a TDH unit in damage output for a dual wielder. We talked about the Secret of Mana collab possibly coming on global soon. I don't know how soon still. Based on Popoy's TMR Trust Moogle available in the Final Fantasy 11 King Mog event. And then obviously we talked about the fixed dice nerf on JP, what that means for us on global as well, and what that potentially can be changed to. Yeah, so yeah, I think we're gonna Rue711 says no discussion on the return of Tomb Raider, even though Shadow of Tomb Raider comes out this week. No, I'm not gonna discuss on that. I think we can still talk about in more Theorycrafts. In my honest opinion, I don't think global should be pumping out collab after collab after collab. It's people will be broke from it, and free-to-play players will not be able to pull on any of them, because then they'll be kind of scared whether they should be pulling on this collab or wait for another collab that's coming. I don't think Tomb Raider will come that quick, even though yes, with all the new Square Enix titles being released soon, we're gonna have collabs galore, which is why I was hesitant to say that Secret of Mana, Valkyrie Profile, Xenogears was going to even come on global, because there's so much that global can collab with. Like, why even bring in Xenogears? Why even bring in Valkyrie Profile? I'm not quite sure, because apparently they didn't sell well in the US, or yeah, I think in the US specifically. So we'll see how it is. But anyways, we're gonna end this one here. Thank you guys for coming on stream here, and also those on voice chat that were listening to my voice. Again, like I've said, if you guys want to be participating in the next Theorycraft, make sure you either follow on Twitch or at least on Discord, so you'll be up to date on when these things will happen, and then we can engage in a conversation together. We're gonna end this one here. So yeah, if you have Discord, definitely check out the Discord server. Follow me on Twitter as well. I'll be updating the Twitter followers there as well when Theorycraft will start and what the topics are, so you guys will be prepared and what to expect. And of course, subscribe to YouTube if you haven't. And thank you guys again for supporting this content. I've been getting a lot of good feedback on Theorycraft. A lot of people really liking this kind of segment. So I'm very, very encouraged by that. And definitely really hyped about what's coming in the next couple weeks. Until next time, I'll see you guys on the next Theorycraft.